Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Sew with Mediva. And if you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, thank you for sticking to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to make a simple wrap crop top with a stylish long sleeve, and I achieved this style using 1.5 yards of African print fabric. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. So I made use of 1.5 yards of this beautiful African print fabric. You're also going to need your lining. You need your tape rule, your scissors, your chalk and your ruler. So we're going to start with the back panel of this wrap top. So let's go ahead to fold the fabric. So for the back panel, I've gone ahead to cut out the fabric and it is in a fold of 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark out a straight line at the upper part. This is going to be the shoulder line where we'll take all the vertical measurements. And the full length of this wrap top is 19 inches, and I added half an inch extra for turning over with the lining. And then to get the wideness of fabric to fold, I divided my round bust measurement by 4, and I added some extra inches to it, which is going to just serve as the seam allowance and some extras. So I have about 14 inches on fold there. So the next thing to do is to place the tape rule on the shoulder line to mark the vertical measurement. And the first measurement is from my shoulder to my nipple point, my bust point, which is 11 inches. While the next measurement is from my shoulder to the full length of this top, which is 19 inches. So go ahead to mark your own measurement. So after placing your vertical measurement, come over to the shoulder line and place your shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2. Mine is 8 inches. And from that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. And from that 1 inch mark, I'll take the round armhole measurements divided by 2, which is 8 inches. So I'll go ahead to connect all the points together this way and then further extend the line to form the chest line. After that, the next thing is to mark the neckline. The wideness of the neckline I'm working with is 3.5 inches, but I'm going to mark 3 inches because I'm going to turn over with my lining. I'll use the half an inch to turn over with the lining. And then the depth of the back neckline is 1.5 inches, but I'll mark 1 inch and then connect it this way. After that, I'll take the shoulder slope of 1 inch and then connect it to the neckline this way. So after that, the next thing we want to do is to place the dart. So to get your dart line, divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. Mine is 4 inches, and from the closed angle of my fabric, I'm going to mark that 4 inches on the waistline and also mark it on the bust line. I'll connect the 2 points together this way, and then for the back dart, I'm going to come up from the bust point by 2 inches. After that, I'll take half an inch on both sides of the line and connect it all the way up this way. So the next thing we want to do is to mark the round body measurements. So on the bust line, I'll place my round bust measurement divided by 4 and add 1.5 inches for seam allowance, making 12 inches. I'll mark that same 12 inches on the chest line and connect the points together. And then on the full length of the top, I'll mark my round waist measurements divided by 4, which is 9 inches. I'll add 1 inch for that and 1.5 inches for seam allowance, making 11.5 inches. Go ahead to mark your own measurements and connect the points together. So I'll get the midpoint of this armhole line, which is 4 inches for me, and then I'll form a slight curve all the way to the chest line to create the armhole curve. So I'll notch the dart areas and then proceed to cut it out. So add half an inch to the shoulder area for joining and then cut out the neckline. So when you open it up, it is going to look this way. So we're going to take in the dart on the wrong side. So I'm going to use this back panel now to cut out the front. So let's go ahead to do that. So to cut out the front, I'm going ahead to place the back panel on another fabric that is in a fold of 2. So towards the closed angle of the fabric, I came out by extra 4.5 inches. You can go ahead to use your nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2. This is going to give that wrap effect in front. I hope you guys understand. So I have extra 4 inches to 4.5 inches towards the closed angle, and I just ruled out a line. So I'll just use the back panel to cut it out on the sides this way. I'll take the shoulder and also take the neckline all the way into this extra fabric. So before I separate it, I'm going to notch the dart on the front panel as well, and then I'll set the back panel aside. So the next thing to do is to mark the neckline for the front. So remember, we already used 1 inch for the back neckline. I'm going to place my tape rule 1 inch above the neckline and just mark 6 inches for my front. and then I'll connect it all the way up this way. So you can decide to make your neckline lower. It's just going to determine how open the chest area will be. So I'll come over to this lower part now, the center front, and come up by 2.5 inches. So from that point, I'm going to connect it all the way up. So like I said earlier, come up by 2.5 inches from this edge and then go ahead to connect it all the way down. You can use your ruler to do this. So after connecting, I'll go ahead now to cut it out. So go ahead to cut it out now. And then open up the center front so that you can have two pieces. And then for this armhole area, I'm going to come over to the midpoint and come in by 1/2 of an inch, and then just curve it all the way up this way and into the armhole curve. So this is the difference between the front and the back panel. So after doing all of that, I'll separate the two fabrics from each other. So you're going to have two pieces and they're going to overlap on each other in front this way. So right now I'm going to use these fabrics to cut out the lining. So when I'm done cutting, I'll show you guys the next thing to do. I'll cut out lining for the front panels and also cut out for the back, and then I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So guys, I've gone ahead to use the fabrics to cut out the lining, and this is what it looks like. So we're going to start joining with the back panel. So I'm going to remove the pins that I used to hold it down and just separate the fabric from the lining. So I'll open it up this way and then place my lining on it, making sure the right sides are facing each other. I'll go ahead to stitch down the neckline using 1/2 of an inch. I'll close up the sides and also close up the base of this top. I'll leave the shoulder and the armhole areas opened. So after doing that, I'll turn it over and then iron it out. So for the front, I'm going to also use the lining to turn it over. Place them right sides facing each other this way. So before I go ahead to stitch it down, I'll be inserting the belt. So I have this fabric I have cut out already. I want my belt to be 2 inches wide and this fabric is 5 inches wide. So I'll fold it into two this way and go ahead to close it up using 1/2 of an inch. I'll make sure one edge is closed and then I'll turn it over to the right side. So after turning over to the right side, your belt is going to look this way with one side closed. So I'm going to take the open side and place it on the lower part of my top this way. I'll come up by 1/2 of an inch. I hope you guys can see what I did. I came up by 1/2 of an inch and then I'll pin down my belt this way. So after pinning down, I'm going to place my lining on it and then go ahead to close up the neckline area. I'll use that 1/2 an inch at the base to close up the base. I'll push the belt inside this way and also close up the sides. So I'll repeat the same process for the other one and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. So guys, after turning over with the lining, this is what it looks like. This is what the belt looks like. And then for the length of your belt, you're going to use the length of your round waist measurement to cut out the length of your belt. So this is what it looks like on the wrong side. I've already gone ahead to mark out my dart point, and for the front I came down by 1.5 inches from my bust point. Then I marked out the dart, and then the back dart is going to just be above the bust point, 2 inches above the bust point, as you can see. So right now I'll take it to my sewing machine and take in the dart on the wrong side this way. Just stitch it closed on both sides. So after doing that, I'm going to repeat the same thing on the front panels. I'll take in the dart. I'll take in the dart just the way I have marked it. I'll take it in this way and stitch it down. So when I'm done doing all of that, I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So after I took in the dart for the back, this is what it looks like, and for the front you can see the effect on the bust area. So the next thing we want to do is to join the front and the back panels together. So I'm going to place them on each other, right side facing each other this way. So starting with the shoulder, I'm going to merge it up this way, making sure the linings are facing each other and the fabrics are facing each other, and then I'll go ahead to stitch it closed. And when I'm done with that, I'll come over to the side and take the seam allowance all the way down. So when I'm done with that, I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. On the shoulder, make sure the linings are facing each other and the fabric, open it up this way and stitch it all the way down. So I'll close up the sides and show you guys what it looks like. So after closing up the shoulders and the sides, this is what it looks like. This is what you should have. So I'll set this aside now while we work on the sleeve. So for the sleeve, it is going to be a basic long sleeve and a gathered flare at the base. So I've gone ahead to cut out the fabric and it is in a fold of 2. This is just for one sleeve. So I folded it using the round armhole measurements divided by 2 plus 1 inch for seam allowance. So the first thing you want to do is to mark from the shoulder to the cap's height, and mine is 4 inches. So the next measurement is to the elbow, from the shoulder to the elbow, mine is 14 inches, and then the full length of this sleeve to my wrist is 23 inches. So on this cap's height, I'm going to mark the round armhole measurements divided by 2, which is 8 inches, and 1 inch for seam allowance, and then I'll connect it all the way to the top of the fabric this way, forming a slant. After that, I'll get the midpoint of this line, which is 5.5 inches, and then from the upper part I'll come up by 0.5 inches and form a curve to that point, and then the lower part I'll come down by 0.5 inches. So after doing that, I'll come over to the elbow line and place the round measurement on the elbow divided by 2. So by taking this measurement, make sure you are able to fold your hands. I hope you guys understand. So for mine, I got 6.5 inches plus 1 inch for seam allowance, and for the wrist, measure around your arm this way so that your hand can go through it. Whatever you got, divide it by 2 and then add 1 inch for seam allowance. After doing that, I'll go ahead to connect all the points together this way. So this is basically all for the long sleeve part of it. So let's go ahead to cut it out. So after cutting out, I'm going to use this sleeve to cut out the other sleeve. And don't forget to make a notch at the crown of the sleeve. So I used the sleeve to cut out the other sleeve, and then I closed it up using the 1 inch seam allowance. After turning over to the right side, this is what we have. So while closing up the sleeve, I left a gap of 1 inch at the base. So I want to attach the gathers, and I have this fabric here. It is about 30 inches wide. So if you want your gathers fuller, you have to work with something wider. So I'm going to take the sleeve now, that opening that we have there at the base. I'm going to place the right side of the fabric facing the sleeve this way, and then I'll join the two pieces together. So while I'm joining, I'll keep creating my gathers this way. So while joining the two together, keep creating the gathers with the fabric until you get to the other side, and then go ahead to close it up. So when I'm done, I'll also finish up the base, and the wideness of this fabric is 5 inches, half an inch for joining at the top and half an inch at the base for folding. So when I'm done creating the gathers, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So guys, after attaching the gathers to the sleeve, this is what it looks like. You can see how beautiful it looks, and I've also gone ahead to close up the opening we have on that side. So I have attached one of the sleeves to the wrap top already, and this is what it looks like. You can see how beautiful it looks. I'm going to show you guys now how to attach the other one. So what you're going to do is to flip your top to the wrong side this way, and then take the right side of the top, take the crown area, the part we notched, and then pass it in through it this way. So making sure the right sides are facing each other, I'm going to merge that notched point to the shoulder join in this way. I'll fit in the remaining part of my sleeve and then go ahead to stitch it all around. So when I'm done, I'll show you guys. So after inserting the second sleeve, this is what it looks like. I'll just go ahead now to iron it out. So this is basically all on how to make a simple wrap top. So the rope is just going to go around your waist and you tie it depending on how long it is. So this is how we end this video for today, guys. I hope you found it useful and I hope you learned something new. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, share this video to your loved ones, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.